Coronavirus cases soar in the U.S.
I don't know how we're going to get this done.
Schools across the country that have or plan to shut down due to this virus.
It's really, really stressful.
Broadway theaters today extended their shutdown.
Call for change in a system they say discriminates against Black Americans. But will that activism make a difference at the ballot box?
It has to. Over the past 8 weeks, the Producing Your Own Work class has had to plan, write, shoot, and edit, something that we honestly all doubted at first. It's due in like 10 hours. But we knew we had to make something with everything going on in the world right now. But with a lot of hard work and determination and long hours, and a lot of Zoom calls, we did it. We created a 5-episode web series that all boils down to one word.
What's your right?
Alright, here's how we did it.
So today we are filming a dance video that's full storyline from a group of friends hanging out to a girl's dream into a police officer standing against a wall. It's basically a representation of how systemic racism has evolved through time and just how it happens to be brought upon today and how it's been brought to light. We're not really commenting on anything specific. We kind of want the audience to be able to interpret it how they want, but we also want to give a point of view and have the dancers tell their story in their own way.
Perfect. And what are some challenges regarding this project? I understand that COVID has put a halt to so many like normal things. So what were some difficulties that happened and how did you accomplish them?
Yeah, so I think at first it was just trying to communicate with everybody with other classes going on and having to communicate through Zoom. But we were able to do a lot of the choreography and everything through Zoom, and we were able to figure out a way to still shoot with all these people with masks while social distancing outside. So we just took the guidelines that we were given and, you know, made our ideas available to fit into this box. And yeah, I think that we did it as efficiently as we could have.
Explain the correlation with the time period with the current events of today.
Yeah, so in the beginning, actually, we're having a speech from JFK. He gave a civil rights speech back in 1963, and he basically just said, like, you know, all people deserve to be equal, and that slavery was abolished, but the people that were once slaves are not free. And the fact that he could say that in 1963 when segregation still existed, but the president of the United States today couldn't say anything about the Black Lives Matter movement. We just wanted to comment on that. The dancer in the beginning is an African American woman who has faced systemic racism in her life, and then at the end it is shown that now the police officer is the oppressed because now they are facing the hate and now they don't like it. But yeah, it's kind of just like a full circle example from the 1960s until today of how it still exists and we still need to talk about it and work through it.
What inspired the choreography? I understand there was a circle, so can you explain the circle and the whole entire symbolism with all of that?
Yeah, so I kind of just wanted to show that even though there are all these people around her, they don't necessarily see her or understand her. She starts on the ground, she gets up off the ground, realizing that she is trapped in this circle. She sees her friends in the circle, but they are still choosing to ignore her and look away from the troubles that she's experiencing. And so she starts to open a few of their eyes and starts to bring them into her world and show them what her life is like. And once, you know, enough people are convinced and enough people are, you know, open-minded to what her life is like, we start to face some trouble because not everybody has the same opinions as we do. So we just wanted to show, like, the ignorance and the trouble of fighting one another through that dance. So we have Ethan and Lorraine fighting. We just wanted to show the struggle from her point of view in the beginning to the struggle from his point of view at the end. And then at the end, we just wanted to put vote because we think it's really important to vote, so we made sure we put that in there.
It was important to help choreograph this dance scene for me because
I personally feel like a lot of dance concept videos, especially those dealing with current events, are very abstract, which can be great. However, that leaves those people who, may not have a background knowledge of dance, or even me as a dancer, I do have a hard time pinpointing the message or theme of these videos a lot of the time. So it was important for me to participate in this because I knew this concept was going to be very concrete and clear and get that message across. And that for me was most important, that anyone of any background could watch this and know exactly what we were talking about and what we were trying to say. I just really think it turned out exactly how we pictured it to.
Education episode.
Education, yes.
You're like Mark and Red.
Hey Angela, what are you holding?
A vote here.
Yes, you want to explain what's going on?
This is going, Miss Green will be looking at this and making her decision to go vote and change the world.
Yes, vote now, friends.
Yes.
Sosa in the back is vibing.
Alright, let's not underestimate the power of these people. Listen, not only did we record completely original music in 3 nights, but if we're gonna backtrack a little bit, Maria and I, who produced the music for this episode, we also had to produce an original cover for episode 1 so that the first episode wouldn't get taken down again. And we did that in 1 night. And hopefully that'll solve our problem. Alright, I'm done.
When we decided to make an episode on the LGBT topic, I really wanted to be a writer for that. That was important for me because as a member of the LGBT community, I feel like I have something to say about it. And one of the things that me and Kyle and Brooke all talked about when we were collaborating about what we wanted to do for this episode is that we wanted to highlight someone who doesn't have an accepting family. Which is what we did with Kyle's character Louise. Because we feel like oftentimes in the media and a lot of the mainstream LGBT movies, it's often coming of age story of a gay person, then in the end it's like all fine and dandy, like everything's great. Which happens, and it's still great that those movies are out there, but we wanted to highlight kind of the other side to it. Luckily for me, my parents aren't like evil. It's definitely something that I just can't talk to them about. I'm bisexual or queer, kind of like the type of thing where if I want to talk to my parents about a girl I'm interested in, I can't really do that. So that's kind of what we wanted to talk about. That was the big thing, at least for me, is to be able to highlight that and to take these two characters and see the contrast between someone who has an accepting family and someone who doesn't. We wanted to take a person of color, gay male, in our case Filipino, and a white bisexual woman. Kind of use those two characters to talk about a variety of topics, POC versus white in the LGBT community, accepting families versus not accepting families within the community, being a gay man versus a bisexual woman, because those have their own problems within themselves that lots of people don't talk about. We wanted to address the over-sexualization of gay women. If you get anything out of this video, please vote. Vote keeping in mind the people in the LGBT community, whether you're a part of it or you're not a part of it. Make your vote count. And think about those people when you're voting. I think it's important. I think too many people, when they vote, only think about themselves and what's going to benefit themselves the most. But I think it's important to think about the people that don't have it as easy.
There's a shot in episode 3 where it switches from Louise to Reina, and it goes back and forth in between their lives before they meet and they realize that they should be friends forever, or that they realize that they're going through the same type of things. But anyways, there's this shot, Kyle tapping his pencil straight to Sky tapping her pencil. I really want to sell that. So since they shot it in the city and we were on a low budget, we're on a $0 budget, they can't really get certain sounds. So I have a notebook, so we'll just do that. Let's see if that works.
So creating this episode hasn't been that easy. mostly due to COVID-19. COVID has caused all of our classes to be online, and that means our classmates are spread out all across the country. And of course, that made filming kind of tricky. So I'm one of the few classmates that are actually in LA right now, and that caused me to take on a lot of their jobs just because they aren't here physically. And at first that really stressed me out because I haven't done a lot of behind the scenes work and I just didn't feel capable of it, but I pushed through and I persevered, and I realized that I'm capable of a lot more than I think I am. With a few other of my classmates, we created this beautiful product, and I hope that it'll actually help people and get a strong message out there. And we just want to encourage everybody to go out and vote because our voices matter.